Hello, everyone, once again. Welcome to Unboxed God, where we detox from religion and discover the God who refuses to fit inside the boxes we were given. I'm Tolu Sarah Johnson, and here we explore who God really is beyond fear, beyond formulas, and beyond everything we were taught to perform. If you're hungry for a real relationship with Him, you are in the right place. So let's dive in. I'll be speaking again on the current playlist that I've got, which is Let's Talk Religion. And this message will be what authenticity with God actually looks like. What it truly means to be authentic with God. Because for most of us, seeking God was translated into long prayers, polished spiritual language, perfect Christian behavior, hiding our struggles, and pretending we are fine. But none of that is authenticity. None of that leads to intimacy. None of that creates relationship with Him. None of that even lead other people around you to God. When you're authentic, when you show your flaws as human beings, all the children of God will be able to see and they're moved to even know Him the more. Authenticity is not what we've been taught. And because of that, we don't see human as fallible. We see human as this human being that needs to be automatically perfect. And because you are a Christian, you have to be authentic. Because you're a pastor, you have to be authentic. Because you're an apostle, you have to be authentic. It's you telling your children, because you belong to me, you have to be authentic. You have to be without no imperfection. Basically, that's what you are telling me to do. And that is what we do. That's what we play. And authenticity isn't all of this, isn't perfection. It is presence. It is being with God, knowing Him for real. But were we taught that? No. Religion taught us a 3 hour prayer performance. Night vigil. I used to go to a lot of night vigil growing up. A lot of people will be wondering what is night vigil. If you are from Africa, you already know. Night vigil is when you go to church 10 o'clock, maybe nighttime, and then you leave the church very early the next morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., wherever time the church finishes. Imagine doing that every Friday. And you're thinking because you're doing that, you're authentic. You think looking spiritually strong, a perfect church attendance record, sounding holy, pretending you don't struggle, hiding your doubt, presenting your best self to God is wrong. Whereas God is looking for your best self. But you are presenting your best self in a perform, perf, in a performatic. There's no English allowed. You're presenting yourself to God in a way that is not real. It's just like performing. Like when you watch a drama, when you watch a movie, those people are performing. That is not the real them. When you see them when they're not acting, you see the real self. That is how a lot of us live our Christian life like we're on the stage and we are performing for God. And God just laughs and says, I know the real you. Why? Why can't you go to church and just say, this is the real me? Why can't you tell people that I'm struggling in this area of my life? Because religion trains us to act like spiritual employees, but you cannot perform your way into intimacy. Yes, can you hear that? You cannot perform your way into intimacy. I tried. It did not work. So what does authenticity look like? Authenticity look like vulnerability. Yes, telling God the real truth, not the Christian version. Telling God, I'm scared. I feel numbed. I don't understand. I am hungry. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of dealing with this sin in my life. Just being your real self. God does not want the performative you. He wants the real you. Come to me. Tell me what is going through your mind. That radical transparency, radical vulnerability, sharing everything with him is so radical to me now. Papa is so radical, it's so vulnerable. But that's a relationship that we've built. You can build that with him as well. Having this two-way conversation. I've already had a two-way conversation with him today. It was real. I know I was hearing from him. I was smiling. It means humility, humbling yourself, knowing that you need him, knowing that without him, you are incomplete, knowing that you cannot be who God expects you to be by performing. Ask him questions. Lord, where were you when this was happening in my life? Why did you allow it to happen? What are you trying to show me? Like I've asked Papa often, why did you allow me to toil in religion for 24 years without allowing me to be aware that this is not the right way, even though I was speaking to Jesus intimately? And Papa said, because we needed it, we needed your pain. It was a purpose. It was intentional by us, so that you can bring other people that are in the ditch as well out of that ditch. So, authenticity brings clarity, honesty about your humanity. That is authenticity. Father, here I am with my doubt, with my flaws, with my addictions, with my confusions, with my desire. I listened to a Reverend sister's message yesterday. The old me will not want to listen to any other person speaking apart from my Pentecostal religious pastors that I respect. But now I could listen and sit under a message that is being preached by a Buddhist, and I can learn so much from it. My lens of judgment has dropped off. And I was sitting down listening to this Reverend sister, and this Reverend sister said, every one of us carry a trauma. And there's no one without a trauma. We can pretend. We all sin because we are humans. I said, well done, thank you. Though Christians have this selective sin, when you are gay, then you're so bad. But when you lie every day, you're not so bad because it's still manageable. Because a lot of us lie. If you go to church to present a fake version of yourself, you're lying, isn't it? And then you might think, okay, but the person that is gay is in perpetual sin. Yes, you keep lying, you keep presenting a fake version of you are in a perpetual lie as well. So you're not different. So coming back to this sister preaching, but what really touched me about preaching is her sharing her testimony. It said, I was adopted really young. At the age of 12, I was sexually molested, 12 or 11 years of age. And I went into alcohol to try and cope. So I started drinking. And at the age of maybe 18 or 19, he came across religion, and that was the only, God saved him. That was the only way he was able to get out of the trap. And now, 10 years on or more than that, how many years, 20 years, I don't know, she's this Reverend Catholic sister that's devoted all her life to God. But knowing her, where she came from, I've been so open about her testimony really does something in people. It does healing. It makes people to be able to connect to that message better. When I hear Joyce Meyer is so authentic. She's so relatable. She's so open about our journey. And because of that, we are able to see something that we can tap into, that is relatable, that resonates because of our journey. We need more men of God that will be so authentic. God doesn't want you to be somebody that is not built you to be. I remember speaking to Matthew's angel Bethany. I said, why is it that obedience is so easy, or do you struggle as angels to obey? He said, no, Tolu, we are hardwired for obedience. I said, so does that mean human beings are softwired for obedience? He said, no, human beings are hardwired for sin. Flesh makes you sin. So you're not a damaged good because you've got sins in your life, because you've got addiction. My children are not damaged good because they keep messing up their dresses. They keep not doing the right thing, not tidying up. Will you call them messed up because they're doing that? No. So God does not see you as messed up. He sees you as his child. You're still innocent before him. Matthew said he walked out of this, what do you call, where you see prostitute. I can't remember what they call it now. But went to see this prostitute, just slept with the prostitutes and walking out. And he saw a 5-year-old or 6-year-old girl, and he thought, oh, she's so innocent. And Jesus said, like you are. And Matthew was wondering, I've only just finished having sex with a prostitute. So why do you call me innocent? You'll be so surprised. God sees us as innocent. The sins, the fault, the mistakes, all of them, they mean nothing to God. What God cares about is your heart. So start seeing him from a different light. He's not looking for any polished child. He wants the sincere one. He told me, said, Tolu, I like atheists because at least they can challenge me. They're sincere. But you have a lot of Christians that are probably thinking in that line as well, but they pretend. So I like the sincere ones that come to me. So God really, really values authenticity. And there is no way you can shift from religious mindset to knowing God if you are not able to start learning how to be authentic. The first interview I did with John Lennon from Heaven, John Lennon said, Tolu, you need 3 things to be able to grow with the Lord: transparency, obedience, two-way conversation. And he said, Tolu, but I know you said it a lot of time, you're very private, you don't share your life. But for you to be close to God, you need to learn to start sharing your life. We need more pastors that will come to the pulpit and say, I've been struggling with masturbation for so long, but that doesn't change who I am. I'm still working for God. I'm still a vessel to him. Throughout all of these years that Matthew has been falling up and down, God still uses him because he's so transparent about his imperfections. And he shares it as a testimony to help other people to be able to resonate with his message. I want you to look at this analogy of standing before a courtroom. Authenticity with God is like the difference between standing before a courtroom judge, the religious mindset, versus sitting with a beloved, long-lost father, the reality of the gospel. Religion teaches you to preach. Religion teaches you to approach God like a defendant, meticulously dressed in filthy rags, rehearsing spiritual speeches, hiding your mess, offering legalistic proof of why he shouldn't punish you, terrified that he sees your real story. That's not intimacy, that's fear. But the Father dismisses the courtroom entirely. He wants nothing to do with the cold old ways of religion. Instead, he's waiting at home, barefoot, arms open, longing for you to come inside. Authenticity is when you finally do this. You walk away from the courtroom, you drop the filthy rags of self-righteousness, you shed the mask of perfection, and you come home as you are. Because he's not asking for a legal defense, he's asking for a relationship. He wants you to sit on his lap, tell him what broke your heart today, and trust that he has already wrapped you in the robe of his son's righteousness. It's not the judge waiting to condemn you. It's the Father waiting to embrace you. So, I'm laughing because I remember a question that Papa asked me in one of our conversations. I told Tolu, which father wants his children to be afraid of him? And suddenly I saw it. I will never want my children trembling in my presence, scared to speak, scared to confess, scared to make mistakes, scared to be human. Why did we think God wanted that? Then he said, I don't want your fear. I want your trust. I want your closeness. That is authenticity. Not your performance, not your religious reason, just your presence. That's what God wants. And when you come honestly, he meets you deeply, like he has met me. When you come vulnerable, he comes close. When you bring in the part of you, the part you hide from everyone else, he pours love into places religion never reached. Authenticity doesn't demand perfection. It demands honesty. And God can do more with your messy truth than he can with your polished mask. He's done a lot with my messy truth. I carry my story boldly now. That yes, I have got a lot of imperfections present in my life, but he still loves me the way I am. So as we close, let's close with this prayer. Teach me to walk out of the courtroom of religion and into the living room of a relationship. Give me courage to be honest, vulnerable, and open. Strip away the fear, the marks, and the performance. Help me to bring my real self, the one you already love, and let my authenticity become the doorway through which I finally know you deeply. Amen. So, if you've been blessed by this message, comment, leave a comment, leave a review, and I hope you've been blessed.